live. Let me check. Okay.
I love that this is Be Live. It's such a play on words. Believe, be live.
Isn't it?
Be living.
Let's see here. Test. Okay, we're good. Good on the sound. Good on the sound. We got Tamara Sue Chittenden in the house, Jenny Smith, Michael Furlong.
Let me clear my ears so I can hear.
Sebastian Babick, Wendy Kirkwood. We got 11 people in the house and counting. Andrea Andy Falcone, Mary Cooper's back. Karen Anastasia Riley came on and had a powerful show alone and also with her divine partner, Vanessa Krause. Corey Marshall, my brother. Corey, you need to come on and do a show with me. Jody Lee's in the house. Karen Starr. We got to do something soon, Karen. Susan Curtis, Paul Castaneda, Francine Rodriguez. All right, Matthew Riley. All right, Gaia Sun Sisto.
That lady named Star, she's truly Star family. That's her family.
She's amazing. Have you read her poetry? It's amazing.
I will now.
It's breathtaking. It absolutely is incredible.
Oh.
Lawrence Wendell's in the house. Sherry Whiting's in the house. Okay, we got 31 people and counting. If these shows resonate with you, please share. Thank you for all your continued love, support, and contributions to keep us going.
That lady named Star, she's truly Star family. That's her family.
Do you have your phone on?
Have you read her post?
I don't.
No?
No, but I have my little guru on there. But do you want me to shut the phone off? Would that help?
No. I just heard you say the same thing you said a minute ago. So I thought there's a delay.
I think there's an echo. Is that my computer? It might be my computer.
Do you have your Facebook onto the live on your computer?
No. Do you want me to shut Facebook off?
Yeah, I probably would just to get better reception. Tracy Grigg from Adelaide, South Australia, the same place Morgan's from. Sebastian Babick, Diana Beaumont, Nancy Nemeth. Yeah. Zach Bergen, Day Woods, Ella Oz, and Sue Baxter Fitz. So we have a special show. We've only got 2 today. And this is a special one with a new friend, Jen Giordano, which means the garden. Right? I got it right.
Garden.
So like many people who have come on to the show, she's been persistent. And because I can't get to everything. Thank God Morgan's doing a whole bunch of that. Most of it, all of it, really. But yeah, so I'm glad you're here. We just talked yesterday, and as in true Soulogy style, it's spontaneous. We just decided to do it the next day. So welcome to the show. Thank you for sharing space with us and honoring us with your presence.
You are truly a miracle maker, because yesterday was a miracle being offered a position to jump in here. So thank you.
That's the only way to go, right? So let me give you a little backdrop.
It's funner.
What's that?
It's funner if you believe in miracles.
You must be from the South.
Oh, that was just a character I played.
There you go. So Jen has been a KRI Kundalini yoga instructor since 2014, trained in Santa Monica under Oscar-winning artists. Do I have to pronounce that? Howard John and
Harry Juan.
From Rama TV, same teachers as Demi Moore and Russell Brand. She's known for catalyzing soul embodiment coaching sessions and just for fun. To make things funner, she blends Kriya Yoga with aerial yoga and an eccentric awakening practice called Aerialini.
You got it. Aerialini, like in the air for real with Kundalini.
So she is a teacher's teacher and a healer's healer. I'm jumping around. She's a bold, fearless guide and will help you to become faithful and fear-free by awakening the guru in you. Her work is relatable to real life and provides spiritual benefits with fitness benefits for endocrine balancing with a focus on the spine. People of any age or fitness level can practice with her. The best client is a client hungry for personal transformation. She attributes her resilience to her teachers, mom, dad, lovers, baby sister, and everyone who ever triggered her. She's a soulful, inspiring woman with a feisty, passionate side. Do you want to play? That's a nice bio. I like that one. Very original.
I'll try to keep
So,
it original. Yeah, try to keep it fun.
yeah, I went through your page a little bit and I saw you've been around for a while. You've been awake for a while. Looks like quite some time, right? You've been through quite a few different layers and evolutions. When did you wake up?
Um, that's a challenging question because I like to claim that I know that I don't know anything sometimes. And then I used to be a know-it-all when I was a kid. But if I was to say the most profound out-of-body experience that I've had, the first one was 2013. And it was during an act of rape. I had a boyfriend for 4 years. I said no one night. He said, no, you're not going to say no. And he took what he wanted and I shot out of my body and watched it. So it was my very, very first, where the soul was corded into my solar plexus. So I knew I was still with my body, but I was floating above it the way that you describe when you die and you have a near-death experience, you're floating above it and you see it. That's what happened. So I would say that was my most powerful awakening moment. But then there was a series of things that happened after that. The first week that happened, I couldn't work. I went into a trauma, a post-traumatic stress, and you could call it like a psychotic break because I was just crying and crying and crying and crying. And I went to the doctor. The doctor gave me a note, told me to stop working. I stopped working and went to Ojai. And when I traveled to Ojai, I painted a picture of a mermaid that had a whale's tail and a little baby in her arms. She had her eyes closed in a meditative thing. And then the baby was like this little anger baby. It had like red eyes but it had like a sea star on its heart. So it was like this little creature baby that was also a mermaid baby. It was very interesting. It was an interesting painting because the mermaid had like scars, marks right here around the cheeks. And about a week after I did that painting, I lit my face on fire during a fire dancing performance. And I actually had second and third degree burns in the exact spots of the painting that I painted. So it was a premonition painting. So anyway, my abilities started to turn on from that trauma.
Wow.
They say there are like 8 paths to Kundalini awakening. One of them is trauma. One of them is bhakti yoga dancing. Just Hare Krishna, Krishna. One of them is meditating for, 5 hours a day. I mean, there's lots of paths. I've kind of done a lot of them. That was just the first time that I had yeah.
Wow. Thank you for sharing that. That's intense. That's really intense. So, I mean, you said that when this occurred, it triggered your skills, your innate skills and abilities. Did you have any faces of the universe, indoctrinating you, divine essences, angels, archangels, galactic beings, anything like that?
The most profound experience I had was in 2016 with that. And that was when I had been poisoned by formaldehyde in my apartment in Pleasant Grove, Utah. I had rashes all over my body that I discovered 11 months later, 12 doctors later, that it was actually formaldehyde. And my liver was disintegrating. So I took some silver supplement that was really powerful, magnetized ionized silver. And the minute I took the silver, my body was flushing, miraculously just clearing all of this formaldehyde that was stuck in my body. And during that hospitalization, this was just in September of 2016. During that 4 days in the hospital, I was visited by anywhere from 8 to 10 avian blue beings, tall. The whole room was purple and blue, violet flame, and they were surgeons. That's what I was told. I'm not sure if they were Arcturians or if they were Syrians. I'm not sure where specifically they came from. I know they weren't from here and they were non-physical and they were
avians. They were blue. Yeah, blue avians. Yeah.
Probably, yeah, because they were doing healing work on my liver and my lymphatic system. Because 4 days later, from being at literally the top of the liver transplant list with only N-acetylcholine in my body, I would not let them put any antibiotics or any of that in or steroids. I told the doctors absolutely not, and so they only put the stuff that's in broccoli, N-acetylcholine, in my IV drip. They blew me up like a blowfish. The IV fluids helped flush. And then my liver was regenerated in 3 days. I walked out of the hospital 3 days later. So I've had a series of these. I've been in the ocean, drowned twice, 45 minutes hypothermic in the ocean. I call them my rebirthing journeys. They're done ayahuasca 12 times. So the word intense was a really good word to use for my awakening journey since 2014. Kundalini yoga has been a part of it, but not the only tool that I've
so with the avians, with the blue avians, I mean, was it strictly in terms of repairing you and getting you back to where you needed to be, or did you also receive any type of intel?
It's my belief that people get the intelligence that they need when they need it. I don't want to share too much. It's kind of a mystery school to go through these experiences. And sometimes they say, if you have an ayahuasca journey, don't tell every detail about the journey. I feel the same way about my interactions with non-physical beings out of honor and respect for them. But I will tell you that they were giving me extra senses. They were downloading me, uploading me, clearing me, detaching ancient cords, which I picked up were 70,000 years old. So some of the stuff that was in my liver, my physical liver was disintegrating, but my spiritual liver needed a good cleaning, and they were doing that work. Nothing happens by accident. So the fact that that my illness was a toxic contamination, so it's toxic emotions, toxic thoughts, toxic memories in my DNA that might not even belong to me in this life. All of that was the metaphor. All of that was being brought to the surface to be cleared. If you wanted to use one word for me in the past 2 years, what I've been going through is deep shadow work. And I think I'm doing it for my family, my lineage, but humanity too.
Yeah.
I've just recently become very, very aware, very clear that I'm of the goddess essence. That's what I've brought, is the divine feminine essence. What is called Sophia Christ consciousness, and it's what Jesus and Mary Magdalene were intending to ground. They were the first grounding rods. And then there's, hundreds of thousands of us carrying that forward. So my work in this life is to embrace the betrayal, the rejection, the pain of my whole family rejecting me, and the pain of all these traumas, and then just take them and use them to empower myself and to grow in my light, instead of those traumas becoming burdens and like layers. It's become, okay, bring it on. What's next? Because this is going to be a next level, a quickening.
Yeah.
So I did get some really good intelligence from my ayahuasca journeys.
Let's talk about it.
Yeah, 12 of them, 12. This is supposed to be fun. Our life. I mean, if we can ask, what's the joke when you go through something hard? I'm reading this great book, Radical Forgiveness. It's by Colin Tipping, and it's a really revolutionary way to look at forgiveness, because it says that nothing that happens to us is like purposeless. And
Right.
I wrote an article called Finding the Purpose in Your Painful Experiences in Women with Soul, which was the Catalyst issue 4. That was last year in February on the Shift Network. And my article is very short, but it is all about finding purpose in horrific experiences. Because, and if you don't mind me just reading briefly, I got this little tiny passage, and this is the story of my life right here. It's like, it feels like another person is doing something to you, right? To make you angry, or you're a victim. Somebody's hurting you. You're being raped, whatever it is. However, you get to own your feelings. The feelings that you feel begin with you and not with them. So you drop the need to feel victimized and realize the person's doing these things not to you, but for you. Then you begin that enables you to take back the projection of that victim consciousness. And I mean, what is more important than stopping feeding the beast victim system that's running this planet? There's nothing more important. It's just like, there's nothing to me, but that's maybe because I've been a victim so much, but there's nothing more important for the victim to see herself or himself as the victor. And my name that was given to me in Kundalini Yoga was Ajit Dev Kaur. They give you a name when you're done with your teacher training. Ajit Dev is victory. That's what it means. Like, it's a loud chant, war cry, victory. And my life reflects that so much. The perpetuation of this predatorial culture requires victims, or we couldn't perpetuate the predator culture. And I know that's so hard to hear, because people just want to be like, they want to hold on to that victim and say, but don't discount my victimhood. And yet I have been more times than I want to tell you the victim, and I'm transcending it gratefully, with deep appreciation.
Yes. And everybody's pain is equivalent, proportionate to their life experience. We all know pain. Just looks different, has a different face on it. Yeah. And many, many people that have come on this show in 800 plus episodes have talked about the same type of thing. Successive traumas, that woke them up, or were the prelude to waking up, car accidents, severe physical illnesses, just different things like that. And I think we've moved into a space in 2019. I'd like to find out what's happened to you in 2017 and 18. But in 2019, I believe we've moved into a space where that just doesn't hold anymore. That whole victim consciousness conversation and dialogue is just falling on deaf ears, so to speak. But so that was in 2016. What's the last couple of years been like? Has it just been a lot of shadow work?
Well, once the liver thing was done, which was attached to the guy who raped me, he had a cord attached there. He was an entity runner, so he would run entities through me while we were having sex.
Did he do that consciously?
Everyone asks me that. I believe, I used to call him the Lord of Darkness. I believe he actually was a handler. Have you ever heard of that term?
Yes.
Celebrities, they have handlers. Like Beyonce has Jay-Z.
Yeah.
I think he was my handler, if that makes any sense. And I knew him from the age of 20, and we didn't even sleep together until I was 29, 28. So he was like one of two men in my life that would just keep like attaching to me, and that was always about sex. So he would get high on everything: coke, alcohol, ketamine, MDMA. He just gets super freaking high, and he would like watch pornography and then jack off all day and then do some more cocaine and then call me at night, right? So I was this channel for I don't know if you want to call them demons, but it was just like, I call it entity runners. And I've met a couple of them. I've met a lot of them. And I think that's what he was doing. Well, whether it was for good or for bad, whether we were working together to clear entities off the planet, whether he was meant to destroy me, I do not even know. But I do believe it was conscious, because when I lit my face on fire, a couple of times he told me, he suggested, oh, I know this girl who jumped off of the edge of a building. Oh, I hope you'll never do that. And it felt like a suggestion he was planting.
Yeah.
So
it
was scary stuff once I realized who he was. Anyway, the liver failure, I found out, this is crazy. On Facebook, he doesn't even have a Facebook account. He's one of these guys that doesn't have a Facebook account, but he ended up getting one, and then he showed a bunch of pictures of him getting married. He was getting married on 9/9/2016. 6 plus 2, 7, 8, 9 plus 1. So if you add the number 9/9/2016, the day of his marriage to this other girl that he was banging when he was with me, 999 flipped upside down, 666. I was told when I got admitted into the hospital, we are removing this from you. And I had 5 energy healers standing around my emergency room bed. The doors got slammed, locked, shut so that the nurses and doctors could not come in. And those 5 energy healers, very powerful, every single one of them was beyond powerful. And they prayed over me, and I was vomiting like the exorcist. So she used the Melchizedek, the one healer who, Nicole, she called upon Metatron and the Melchizedek priesthood to go in and extract this thing. And then I was just profusely vomiting. I mean, it was unbelievable. So, of course it was formaldehyde, it was poison, but it was also, there were some spiritual things happening that were related to that man that raped me, that awakened me. So, it's all very interesting. Whether I was being destroyed, or was he bad? Was he satanic? I don't know. I'm still learning.
Yeah. Yeah. I get what you're saying. I mean, it's, and we've all had those victimizers, I mean, it's like, you wonder, I mean, I remember getting a transmission about somebody, a family member, and it was kind of like, okay, if we're up there planning everything, who would you want to play the role of a victimizer in this incarnation more than someone you're extremely close to? So on one hand, you're going, okay, we can't understand it at this level, but you at least got to be open to it. But I like
there's a children's book about this, and it's a little child talking to God, and he's with his friend in the clouds, and his friend says, when we're going to go down there together, but I'm going to play like the most evil villain in your life story to help you awaken, right? And this little innocent child goes down, and they explore the journey of dark and light, evil and good. And some of the people that I've loved in the deepest, most intimate way have been drug and alcohol addicts. Even though I've never been addicted to drugs or alcohol, my addiction was the pain body. My addiction was emotional pain being used for sex specifically. So I'm working something out, working my salvation out. And this is so intense. I mean, I wanted to do something. I wanted to pray with you before we started talking. And
we can do it now.
Is that okay to do that? I wrote this prayer when I was meditating today. I was doing a meditation. So I meditate with what's called the Golden Buddha, the Hanmi esoteric Golden Buddha. And this is not traditional Buddhism. My friend is a monk in the esoteric lineage of Buddhism. And I've been initiated into the Golden Buddha lineage, the Hanmi Hanmi, esoteric. If you want to look that up, if any of your viewers are interested, it's a powerful empowerment. It's a very special empowerment. It's the temples that were built in Tibet, back in the day before the emperors came in and took over Buddhism. So Buddhism as we know it today is kind of like the Essenes in Christianity had the original blueprint, and then it got polluted into the Catholic Church. In the Catholic Church, it's the same thing with like this Hanmi esoteric Buddhist. So I was in a meditation with a bunch of people today, and it came through to me to pray this prayer because, first of all, the reason is I want to bless you for hosting this show and giving us opportunities to speak in front of an audience. And I also want to bless every single person on this call, because the intensity of my spiritual transformation can transmit and can actually catalyze a quickening or a healing or a triggering. And every single person on this call, I just want to comfort and bless them if they do end up being triggered by some of my story or by my energy or by my voice. So let's do that. It's only going to take like a minute and a half.
You don't have to make excuses. You're good. We're good.
Okay.
You're among friends here.
Yay.
You're among friends. You're supported.
Thank you. I feel that. Yeah. Okay. So let's close our eyes. Everyone who's on the call right now, take a moment, wherever you're at, whatever feelings you have, breathe in through your nose and out through your nose. And I'd like you, if you would, I invite you to breathe for 7 seconds so that you're sipping the air all the way down into your belly button, like as if you're bringing the air into your womb, if you're a woman, or bringing the air into your gut, or your hara, if you're a man. Hara is your womb center. That's your power center. Breathe deep, and really expand. And then I want you to exhale through your nose. Okay, and just listen to the sound of this prayer. I call on the highest and holiest Shekinah light and Divine Father. I request the presence of your love to absolve any distractions, interruptions, confusion, or egoic constructs which may interfere with the delivery of these divine messages today. As we on this call gather in Holy Communion to learn, expand, uniting our consciousness, may the result of this call be an awakening and catalyzing experience for all beings who are dedicating their time, their lives, their attention, their consciousness in the here and now. May I, as a servant of the one truth, the one presence of love, the one source of creation, and my overlighting soul be of service and contribute to the betterment and the greater good of an agenda that has only one purpose, one mission, that being to raise the frequency of this planet. Planet Earth, Gaia, is her spirit name. Please take us into this golden age. And from the lyrics of the song, Blessed we are to dance on this ground with the rhythm of saints, to carry the sound. We hold a prayer for the earth, for the ones yet to come. May you walk in beauty and remember your song. Remember why you came here. Remember your life is sacred. I thank you, God, Goddess, for all you are, you were, and all you are yet to be. Sat Namaste.
Wow.
Let's get this party
Thank
started.
you. Thank you for that.
Golden age. Let's get the party started.
That's what I'm saying. How do you incorporate fun, humor, laughter into your practice?
Oh, such a great question. Oh, I love it. I've been very serious in my journey. I've had a lot of very serious things happen to me. And the way that I got through it all was through sporadic and spontaneous little dollops of joy. That is how God, my angels, my higher self has assisted me to get through this gunky, heavy stuff. You know, Nelson Mandela was buried to his head in sand. I don't know if anyone ever heard this story. And here he is being peed on. He's got like prison guards peeing on his head. And do you know when he got out of prison, he handmade shoes and gave those prison guards shoes, and they became best friends because he forgave them. And that just transformed my mind around the people that I hated, and like, you know, people I was angry at. And I'm still working through a lot of the anger and the rage. But what I love to do is circus arts, and I've been a circus freak since I was 18. I've been a dancer since I was 4. And I used to do go-go dancing on the box, you know, at the nightclub, or you get $200 a night to do the little. So I did that for a while, and you know, I was pumping out light, you know, 20 years old, 21 years old. I was doing fitness modeling. I was on Fox Sports, Best Damn Sports Show, period. I was doing Muscle and Fitness magazine. Playboy tried to get me, but there's no way I would get naked for $400. I was like, you know, no. So I just did fitness modeling and P90X. They used to be beachbody.com. I was on some of those. And, you know, so I always incorporated fun in my spiritual journey. And so now I feel like I've come to this place where I had all this fun in Hollywood and LA. I went to college, got my degree, and then came back, became a pharmaceutical sales rep, made 6 figures a year. I had a lot of like fun, but then I started taking the dive in 2010 into my spiritual awakening journey. You know, it's 2018. By the time it's 18, I think everything happens in 7-year cycles. And so my 7-year cycle was like super, super intense. And now I'm taking the Kundalini yoga, Kriya, mantra, songs, sound healing, and I'm combining it with my circus art love. And that's what Arialini is. It's literally a shamanic journey. It's a healing session you have when you're with me. You're getting a download. You're getting all the spiritual work I've done. You're getting like a purging kind of experience for yourself, or an energy healing. It's not Reiki, because Reiki is really gentle. Mm-hmm. What I bring is kind of, it's a fire. It's a violet flame. It's a fire. It's going to stir things up. But while you're stirring things up with me, you're also receiving this playful inversion. So your inner child gets to integrate into that higher soul being. A lot of very, very high level spiritual masters forget about the inner child, or they sit the inner child in the corner and they ground it. Sit over there and be quiet. I need to be an adult. And we've got to remember to play with this spiritual transformation. And that's where I'm at now. I have a studio here in Utah that just invited me to do a 2-hour workshop, and I've already been creating it for 4 years. I've been playing and creating, and now I'm going to do aerial yoga workshops. And in the future, this will be videos. There'll be videos with my structure outside on portals. If you know Dea Dova, she sings on portals all around the earth. That's the same idea that I have, to bring the Arialini at different portals on the earth. And then you can buy an aerial hammock and watch my videos wherever I'm at, and do it in your living room. Wow. That's the goal. That's like the long goal.
You got to keep us posted on that. You said something that, and definitely share your links on the comments after the show, any links that you have, so people can reach out to you and find you. You said something that I thought was really interesting and humble. So you've had this incredible journey over this 7-year period. You've gone through some intense traumas. So many things have happened, but at the same time, you can sit here and say today, in the present moment, I'm still working on some things. I'm still working on some anger issues with certain people, or whatever it may be. I think that's a beautiful thing, because we might be coming out of an energy where the teacher might not reveal something like that. And for you to do that, I think is full of activations and soul code exchange, just in the moment that you speak it. Not to mention the energy that you carry with it. How do you handle that type of stuff? How do you handle the triggers? How do you handle the reminders, the memories that pop up? How do you work your way through that and navigate yourself through that?
I ask for a lot of help. I call on my mighty I am presence. I call it the mighty I am Jen presence. I need you right now because I cannot do this alone. And I also go on a lot of walks in nature. I am fearless when it comes to moving. If the spirit moves me and tells me it's time to leave, get out of the house you're renting, get out of the state you're in, I am so fearless in my ability to just uproot myself and leave. I don't have attachments to dogs, cats. I have a plant. I have a vine.
Mm-hmm.
That's my only pet. But I don't have a husband. I don't have kids. I grew up with a mother who, she was divorced 3 times. She just got remarried at 62, her 4th marriage. I've been through divorce, so I didn't want to go through divorce. And so I am like the extremist when it comes to non-attachment theory. But what I find helps me the most is to really recognize that the source of my emotional love and support is within me. And I always have direct connection to my oversoul, my overlighting soul. And from there, my family, my ancestors that are here for the greater good, because we have ancestors that are poking and bugging us. We got ancestors that are not so good for us because they're lost, right? They're stuck in their traumas. They didn't get to work it out in a body. So I like to just stay away from that. I've gone through a journey of like, okay, don't want to listen to you guys. What do you other guys have to say? The ones that are in support of my journey and not in resistance to it. I guess that's the way I describe it. But I mean, it's not easy. I just have to ask for a lot of help, and I do not have a crutch like most people do of the pet or the kid or the husband. And you know, you could flip it and you could say, oh, she's been only focused on her own soul journey. She's selfish. She's not, you know, she couldn't get married. She couldn't have kids because she's too selfish. I mean, that's a lot of the programming that my grandmother used to try to put on me, is like, well, I had 8 kids and I still had a business and I still did this. And but you know, I have done more spiritual work for everyone in my family that I am not getting appreciation for. I'm not even seen or heard for that work I'm doing because they don't understand it. They don't understand it. It's not because they don't want to appreciate me. They just don't know what I'm doing. And I've told God this year especially, it's like, God, and this is part of it showing up on your broadcast, I am done being your top secret weapon. I'm ready to step up, step out, and I hope that all of you that are watching do the same thing. Step up, step out, be fearless, go out there and find opportunities to speak your stories, go out there and find opportunities to connect with other light workers, and get the hell away from people who drag you down, who are possessed by demons, possessed by their own pain. Get the hell away from them. Lay compassionate boundaries, lovingly set them free. Don't go, you're disgusting, you're bad, you're evil, go. No, say, listen, right now for me, my self-preservation work that I'm working on in this phase of my life requires me to set you free. Go process your own shit and do it with ayahuasca, or do it with Kundalini yoga, or do it however your soul guides you. But connect with your soul, for God's sake. That's why my program, I have a 35-day coaching program, which is about $1,500 and some change. And that's a steal of a deal because most coaching programs are like $2,900. It's almost half what I'm charging, but 35-day coaching program. It's a soul embodiment coaching program. You can do it virtual. And I call it Awaken the Guru Within You. And that's the journey I've been on because I searched for all these gurus and all these, even plants can be gurus. You can become addicted to following a plant, you know, and what we really are here to do is to follow our higher soul's guidance. And the higher soul is the Holy Spirit, the Shekinah, the Holy Spirit, the Holy Ghost. When you give up the ghost, that's in the Bible. When you give up the ghost, you are giving up the spirit. So I hope that answers your question.
I think it did, but I forgot the question.
What do you do to stay like light when you're going through those hard times, I guess?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's yes.
I serve. That's another one. I do serve. That makes me feel good.
Your confirmation validation comes direct through the I am Jen, through the faces of the universe that you communicate with.
Yeah, like I'll be on a train and I won't know where I'm at. Like I traveled in India for 4.5 months and I went to 22 cities and I only brought $1,000 because I thought I was going to stay 1 month. Man, when I mean to tell you, I was grateful for Facebook because I met 3 people on Facebook that I was able to find places to stay with Sikh families, 3 different Sikh families and 1 Catholic family in Goa, India. And these people just gave me room and shelter and board and food. And I stayed in a bunch of gurdwaras, which means house of the guru. They're temples of the Sikh faith. I stayed in a couple of those. But I barely made any money when I was traveling India. I just manifested. And it required a lot of intuition and a lot of listening to my higher soul to stay out of trouble. There was one night, and it will be in my book, For the Love of Light is the name of my book. It was a night where I was in Chandigarh, Punjab, in North India. And I got off of a bus, and I was like, oh my God, there's no bus until 6 in the morning. It's 10 p.m. I'm in one of the most dangerous cities in Punjab by myself, white girl with a big, huge suitcase, bright red. And I went to a hotel, and this rickshaw driver was a little saint. He did not leave my side. And there were 2 men that looked like they were big Hollywood celebrity guys that looked like gangsters. And they were in this hotel. And I sensed that they were dangerous, that they could easily like kidnap me and sell me off for sex or try to get ransom for me, or, you know, and I just started yelling at the staff, and I was like, I don't have enough money to stay here. I just got bigger and louder so that they would know that if they messed with me, that I would put up a fight. And then the rickshaw driver was like, he didn't speak any English, but he took me to another hotel. And I had to follow my intuition to stay out of danger, traveling 22 cities with no money. I mean, that was right 3 months after I healed from the liver failure. Wow. I was guided to throw down $2,000 on a credit card and go fly to India. And I went to Kashmir, and I have to tell you guys, if you want to go somewhere where you can feel what the Garden of Eden feels like, it's in Kashmir. Kashmir has marijuana plants that are the OG original marijuana plant, not hybridized, not fucked with by humans, no THC that's in higher quantities. It's the way Gaia, the earth, grows marijuana plants. And I would grind them and put them in water. And it was such a healing tincture to eat the whole plant, ground it up in warm water. Oh, go to Kashmir, Srinagar. There's a place called Risi or Srinagar. And that was my favorite part of the journey. Yeah.
Wow. So what's on the agenda next? Where are you heading now? What are you doing now? You're going to be there in Utah opening your facility?
Yeah. So little vulnerable share here. I'm staying in kind of like an Airbnb right now, and I'm in this transition, I think. I almost got hired at Guardian Angel Daycare. I was trying to get a job at this little daycare because I wanted to work with kids. But they asked me to do immunizations, and they asked me to do flu shot. And I refused it and said, listen, I'm allergic to formaldehyde. I have a compromised liver. So I didn't get the job. So I had an opportunity to go to Canada and live on this land and grow food on the land and do maple syrup and do plant, what is it called? Oh, when you pickle the plants. Oh my gosh. I'm forgetting, when you like take plants and you pickle them and fermented foods. Sorry. So I had an opportunity to go to Canada and, but ultimately here's the thing. I need to finish my book and get that launched. So I think Utah is a good place to be for finishing that book. And then I'm getting everything on my online coaching program launched. And so it could be that I stay here another year. It could be that I get plucked up and delivered to Canada. I really am in a constant flow state. I've been here at the place that I'm at September, October, November, December. Let's see, October, November, December, January, and February. So it's been 4 or 5 months that I've been in one place. But I don't usually stay one place very long. I kind of get uprooted. I know you know that. I think that happens to you a lot too.
Yeah.
A little nomadic.
It used to. Hopefully it's going away now, but at least for a while. So, so what does it look like to you in the collective? I mean, you obviously have a client base, you have a practice, and then just the other things you observe. I mean, what do you think's happening out there? Do you think there is clear evidence of a mass awakening? Do you think we're moving very rapidly as a collective, or at least enough of us are to make a real difference and a shift?
Wow. I don't think there's anything that can stop it. So I'm hopeful about it. I am full, like I said, full of faith and fear-free. I mean, that's not even really true. I have a little bit of fear, but I think it's a healthy amount of fear. We should always have a healthy amount of fear. But, there are things that are blocking us, which is the geoengineering is really fucking things up. Excuse me for using the F word. I hope
that's okay. This is Soulogy.
Okay, I can use that word. Okay. I'm nervous about that, and that's just because the plant and animal kingdom are just screaming and crying like, why are you guys doing this to us and to yourselves? And we're allowing it, and people who say anything about it are called conspiracy theorists, and they're shut down. The media's grip on people's minds and the ability to distract them has just become even worse with the internet. I'm sorry, but for people who love the internet, but it has become worse because now instead of just commercials distracting you, you've got Facebook feed posts and you're just stuck in an argument for an entire half of a day, arguing with yourself.
If you choose to participate, yes. Yeah, let's talk about that. You're somebody who's gone through some powerful personal transformation. You've said by your own account that you're not just doing that for yourself. You're doing it for your lineage. You're doing it for the collective, right? I believe so.
Although I know it sounds a little bit like spiritual egoic, but I'm saying that because I think it's true that anyone who chooses the kind of spiritual journey that I have, which is a lot of discomfort, is probably doing it for more than just themselves.
Yeah. And I think there's a lot of people listening and that come on this show that could relate to that. So it's not egoic. But having said that, and having, being able to reflect on your own experience, do we or do we not have the power to overcome any of these physical machinations, with the geoengineering, the GMOs, and the fluoride, by simply transforming ourselves?
Well, if I can go through burning my face and having a younger face afterwards, if I can go through the DNA activations I've been through, reverse age. I mean, I'm 38 years old. I feel like I might be 30. I don't get flus anymore. 3 years I haven't got a flu or sickness. That's why I don't want to take the flu shot. I don't eat pure healthy food all the time because I travel, right? And I'm always like, sometimes I'm living on $1,200 in a month. So I have learned, I've hit that button, like that manifestation button where it's like, I've lived on $1,000 a month, but I manifest a great life. So the things that I manifest, I don't need money for. It's just like that. I've found that level, and I'm writing it. And then eventually I'm sure I'll end up, actually embracing money again. I think. I'm not sure, but I think I will. But anyway, going from making 6 figures a year in 2010, I I got a little off track there. So let's back up. So I believe I personally, I can only speak for myself, can transmute anything. So if I want to drink a soda, if I want to drink a Coke, Coca-Cola, Pepsi, as long as my mind and my spiritual being knows how to process the junk in it and clear it out, I can raise my vibration to a high enough level that it becomes healthy for me.
Alchemy.
Yeah. I've done it.
I did it. Yeah, I did it. I've said this many times. 2 years on the streets, mostly at McDonald's. When I woke up the first 2 years, and I didn't have access to the light worker circles, and I didn't know what ascension was. And
you're on your own, weren't you?
Yeah, but I knew that I could honor and convert that food, and my body proved it. But getting back to what I'm saying, I mean, I think we all go through this point where we wake up and 9/11 and this and that, and you're like, oh my God, the Queen's a reptilian and whatever it is, whatever the boogeyman is, and we get a little bit vocal about it, and the pendulum swings back to the middle. I mean, are we at a point in 2019 now where we can just say, to hell with that? I don't need to focus on any of that, because for every degree that I focus on something outside of myself, I'm taking away a degree of focus on myself, and we have the ability to transform ourselves. Therefore, what's within is without. I mean, do you believe that we can do this collectively? Is there enough people that are awake and aware that we can convert this thing by the self transformation?
I'm going to say 2 things. One is yes. And 2 is, when you walk into a room, if you've done any spiritual work on yourself, you're going to bump into every person in that room and spin them out.
Yeah.
They're going to spin out like in a washing machine. So when you focus on you, there's nothing more powerful than to say, so you can tell people, okay, tell the truth, speak your truth. I do this all the time, and it just triggers people. But it's the energy, it's the way that you speak about it. So if I was to say, let me just give you a little example. What do you feel in your emotional body when I go, 9/11 was an inside job, man. The government is out to get us, and every single one of those mofos up at the top are lizard people, and they come from a galaxy that's dominating the earth. Dun, dun, dun. Okay, now, if I say the same thing, at the top of the government pyramid structure, there are these entities controlling people who have a mind that is not their own. They're being embodied by these forces that don't necessarily, I call it not darkness. Please don't use darkness anymore, people. Use the word distortion. Just use distortion, because darkness is the dark mother. It's the Sophia. Darkness is not bad. We don't want to just live in lolly-golly light land. No, we need to integrate dark and light. Okay, let's integrate it. But let's call it what it is, the distortion, the Satanism, the Luciferian, the fake light, the false light. I want to shout out to Lady Gaga, man. That girl is holding it down for the false light. Okay.
Hmm. Well, you're right about that. That is a good word. I have not heard anybody say that on these shows. But if you look at the Nag Hammadi, the Dead Sea Scrolls, which is
Love
about a
them.
quarter.
I guess
Yeah,
I
about a
didn't
quarter.
see them. I got to touch them.
Did you really?
Yeah.
That's awesome. But about a quarter of it is about the archons, and it clearly states in there clearly that they have no power to manifest, that the only thing they can do is distort. And I think we all know the song and dance now. We all know that it was the sustenance for those fourth dimensional beings was the conflict and was the drama and all that
Emotional
stuff.
energy. So stop being so angry and emotional and
Yeah.
reactionary because they're
Yeah.
feeding on you.
And can we, and there is a school of thought that all that's been removed now. Okay. There is a school of thought.
It's like a little sucker upper. I think there's little vacuums like you and me, and we're just like, we're just like sucking it all up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I know
no, you're what? Did you say you're crazy?
I know I'm crazy.
Listen, crazy's not crazy anymore, and everyone on here and everyone on the replay has been called crazy. Many of us.
I'm being a woman and I'm interrupting you. I'm sorry. I apologize.
No, we're good. I just want to I want to get this going out the door for sure. I'd love to collaborate with you again too, by the way, and keep following your story. But yeah, I mean, I guess I'll just come out and say it. I believe that when we transform ourselves, we're transforming everything else. And if there's enough of us doing it,
because your presence is sufficient as an offering, your presence is sufficient as a sacrifice. Your presence. You don't even have to open your mouth to convince anyone of any damn thing.
Very true. Very true. That's right. You're right. You're right. Your energy is the example. And if you know it, you don't have to say it, right?
I still get into it though, I mean, sometimes I got to check myself too.
Yeah.
I'm telling you this probably to tell myself this.
Yeah. Well, you're very honest. You're very blunt. You're very serious. You're also very funny, and I mean that in the best of ways. Wisdom comes in humor, And I'd love to have you back.
Funny,
I'm
dude.
glad we connected.
Yeah. I think God as the father is a pretty funny dude. I think God as the mother is a really serious woman. I think she's kind of like the benevolent queen. She's like the mother that you see that's like, yes, children. Yes, it's we're all here on a journey and I love you all. But sometimes she'll be like, I don't think she uses rage and anger. I have a lot of arguments with my sister about this one. She thinks that the goddess must be wrathful and Kali. And I've been through that journey and I know that energy doesn't feel good and it pushes people away. Nobody wants to be around it. The more I'm fierce, but not rageful and wrathful, I get more out of that. I get a better result. Yeah. And I've played with both of those energies. I mean, it's all mastery. I am a teacher, but I am a student.
Yeah.
Every single person on this call is teaching me something right now on some other level, because I don't, when I say that I know it all and I figured it all out and then start teaching everybody that, I become like these teachers like Osho and Bikram. They end up in the end being consumed by their darkness.
Yeah. Yeah. That's right. As soon as you think you know it, you get a swift kick in the ass. And hopefully your ass isn't so numb that you go down in flames. It's been a pleasure having you on. I look forward to doing it again. And best of luck.
I want to hear all about your homeless journey offline.
Well, maybe we'll talk about it. But the stories aren't important. What's important right now is where we're at and where we're going, right?
Yeah.
Putting all this to use. Putting all this to use is what we're here to do now. I mean, the war is over. The stories are over.
Yeah.
We can focus on the God and goddess that we are.
Well, if I can just interject right where one moment, remember that the stories are how we learn and how we teach. So not to totally discount the stories, but not to discount what you're saying either. I like the phrase, step out of your story and into your glory. A friend of mine said that. She's in Marina Del Rey. And I loved what she said. Alora Inanna, the goddess, she called herself. She had like a goddess palace that I stayed in for a month. And it is true. We do need to step out of our story, but paradoxically, we also need to use our stories for healing. For healing.
Right. Yeah. That's where our wisdom and our courage and our love and our strength came from, right?
What's your intention? What's the energy coming in through your words, right? That's what you got to ask yourself.
Yeah. Bravo. Thank you. Thank you for sharing space with us and honor us with your presence. I look forward to doing it again.
I was honored. Thank you for inviting.
You're very welcome. Thank you, everybody. This is it for today. We're going to cut out today. We're off tomorrow. Tomorrow's a day off. See you on Saturday. Peace out. Take care.
Ciao for now.
All right. See you later.